Welcome back to the Gator Tot podcast. I'm your host, Gator Tot, and
This is Victoria. We'd like to thank all of our friends, our followers, our fans, our haters, and our nemesis for dealing with us throughout this long break. But World Championships is in 3 weeks, and US trials just finished, and school just finished, and we're going to be on a roll. And so we have a guest today. Would you like to introduce
woo!
yourself?
Hello, everyone. I am mediocre swim analysis or analyst. I usually just rant on Twitter, complain about a lot of things. I am a well-known distance stan, and I'm here to help analyze what happened at World Champs trials.
Woo! Okay.
All right, so please give him a warm welcome as we do our analyzing for the US trials in this interim period where all we can do is just sort of freak out about what's going to happen at Worlds.
You've disabled my screen sharing.
Oh, you know, while I fix that,
So there's been a lot of discourse. I'm not sure who's seen it. Have you
oh
guys seen the discourse about the stroke 50s?
Yeah, that's a hot topic.
Like a little
yeah,
bit?
I'm really upset that US Nationals was such a good meet, and
Mm-hmm.
the day afterward, it all this discourse happened because a very well-known and versatile swimmer didn't make the team because of selection policies. Like, we should be talking about Kate Douglas going 52.5, but
I
you
mean,
know,
but the
I should
versatility only goes so far when you're
um,
what, 17th in your like arguably best event,
The event you're
you
the
know?
American record holder in.
Yeah, like I'm just saying there's something else going on there if you can't make the team and you have to rely on stroke 50s. I don't know what,
Which
but something.
I will
is
say this,
working.
not a fan of like a certain someone peddling the idea that they changed the policies right before the meet, even though like policies were changed months in advance, and it wasn't even like the stroke 50s policy that was changed. It was just like other technical stuff. So like we've known about this for a while. This isn't new.
Yeah, but fake news is always back in business. So I don't know. I think that's where we, as the swim community, needs to learn. We need to be able to like toe the line between just clickbait and toe the line between actually
I mean,
detrimental.
honestly, I am going to say this. Like, I love my stroke 50s swimmers. I
Oh my
also
God,
think
Justin Rest. Yeah, I love him. I love Nick Fink. Who else do we love?
Caleb
All of
Dressel.
them.
Um,
Oh, yes.
True.
Dari Rose, new fan favorite.
I think that the argument that pisses me off the most about stroke 50s is that adding them to the Olympics would cause more excitement. Like, that's just completely unfounded.
Yeah,
I
I do
mean,
think that the swimming, like especially with the new program being 5 days, I'm just really not sure how, especially those sprinters, would be
what
able
five?
to actually compete on the sixth day. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, because
I,
that's what prelims, semis, and finals. You're sprinting at least 350s, not even considering overlap.
yeah. And then especially if the roster limits are still in place, so then you're sacrificing prelim swimmers, which also means that your top athletes are swimming an extra, what, at least one race a day. Not one race a
Yep,
day, but like probably one or two evened out extra races on top of that. And it's just that also drags the total medal count because it's dragging individual swims down. But
exactly.
anyways, here we go. What are we starting with? Drum roll, please.
Are we starting with a conclusion of the stroke 50s discourse?
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, like, I need to hear like everyone's complete take in like a minute because I'm confused about what we all actually think. Like, we all know it's so intertwined with whether MA got into the team, and there's so many questions about should MA have made the team. Should stroke 50s be a policy? Like, you know, with ignoring what happened to him in this meet, where, I mean, he was just on the other side of a very, very unlucky coin.
Mm-hmm. I
Agreed.
don't, yeah, I do think at the end of the day, like full stop, he knew, and even if he didn't know that these were the USA policies in regards to priority, it's something he should have known, and he can't be upset about not making the team because these are the rules. They've been in place. Even if they were in place in May, your job as a top athlete is to know and understand like how you are going to apply yourself into these races because you're trying to make that team. Like the priority from this meet is just making the team.
And you could tell from his swims, like the 100 fly prelims, like, yeah, sure, that came after a 50 or before 50. I can't remember. But either way, like the way he just really slowed down that last like 30 meters, you could tell he hadn't trained for the hundreds in the same way he has before.
Mm-hmm. And same with the 100 breast, obviously. Like there is that like sense of absolute just dying on that last 25, and something else isn't working there, and you can't just blame that on the fact that USA Swimming doesn't have priority on the stroke 50s.
Exactly.
Victoria?
Like that I completely agree with. But also, should USA Swimming prioritize the stroke 50s on the same level as Olympic events?
No.
I think no, but for world champs, they should at least bump it up above like those like 5-6 relay swimmers. But maybe just for like the first person, not the second person.
That's what they've always done. Do it for the first person and not the second.
Yeah, that could be a good way to go back to.
Like I'm really, really conflicted on this. I don't think that the events should be I think it would be too far to say I don't think they should be contested. But I really do. I support the rationale for bringing a 5th and 6th relay swimmer as opposed to a 50 swimmer because USA, if you do that, you run the quote unquote risk. You can't see it, but I put my hands in air quotes of bringing swimmers who are completely like total 50s people. And that to USA Swimming would be a waste of time. Now, like contesting it and bringing the event winner, like at the end, people are saying, oh, he didn't make the team. He won it, but he still didn't make the team. But like, no, he would have made the team if they hadn't hit the roster limit. It's not that no stroke 50s. It's just that they are below that. And that's what you have to deal with as opposed to not caring about them at all. If you look at all of the other previous stroke 50s winners, let's see, Justin Ress was like 3rd in the 100 back. He was also 6th in the 100 free. Nick Fink was like also won the 100 back, breast. And then if you look at last year's stroke 50s winners, okay, first of all, like on the women's side this year, but like Burkhoff as well made the team the 100 back with like 58.0. And like, so it's clear that all the top 50s people are also top hundreds people.
Yeah.
Like, does it matter that your 50 swimmers are swimming 1/10 of a second faster in a non-Olympic event than they otherwise would? Nope. I mean, no. Then it goes down to USA 50s aren't on the Olympics. And then earlier today, the podcast that shall not be named was going like, add 50s to the Olympics. They create more excitement. They're faster. Nobody wants to watch a distance race. It creates more like sponsorships in it. And like, I completely agree with the fact that if you allow like if you make another event, then there will be another world champion. I remember like when I was just like, when I was not obsessed with this sport, I'll be like, why is there the 200 backstroke when there's already the 100 backstroke? And like, I think now like I do get it. And I think there should be a 200 backstroke over 100 backstroke. But given that the overlap between like top hundreds and top 50s is so like large and normal viewers can't tell the difference between like going out, if you do want to talk about making the sport exciting, going out in a like 23.0, like Caleb Dressel going out in like a 22.8 in his world record 100 fly, as opposed to a 22.3 or 22.5 50 fly. Like I don't see the rationale for 50s to be added to the Olympics. Like if you weigh that with all the other things going on, roster limits, like wanting to create just like a program that doesn't feel overloaded. Like I've learned, like this was hard, but I have kind of learned to accept the mixed medley relay. Like,
I love
I
the
get
mixed medley relay.
I think
But
it's
that's the other
fantastic.
issue, right? Is they're adding those other events. So it does reduce the like ability to have stroke
you
50s.
know,
But the
mixed medley
rationale
relay,
for
they're just athletes who are on the team anyway. If you
in
add
that,
stroke,
but that's the same thing with stroke 50s, right? Is the rationale is like we're gonna make these a priority six because they're just like a fun little thing that we have at Worlds. So if you're already on the team and you qualify in the stroke 50, great, you get to swim it. You know, like you're a
like,
priority one, priority two swimmer. Perf.
I think that the problem is that the inequality in terms of recognition between Olympics and everything else is so large. Like we can
Mm-hmm.
sort of, that goes into sort of other things, but sort of my conclusion is that on this small level of MA not making the team, I'm I'm sorry to MA. I mean, sorry in the sense that it must have been horrible to find out that you didn't make the team in that way after posting about it on Instagram, that you made the team.
That was actually okay. I'm sorry. Like I love Michael Andrew as a swimmer, um, but
You,
it was really quite funny that he posted that on Instagram and then had to
Yeah, like
delete it
like I
like we've
again.
been saying, like the policies have been out for a while. Like we said before, he should have known. So that post never should have gone up in the first place.
right. And then,
Funny though.
on those other levels, not caring about stroke 50s makes sense. And even on the smallest level of the Michael Andrew level, he's a good 100 fly swimmer. He's a good 100 breast swimmer. He's, the second place spot for the 100 breast was so uncompetitive that people were thinking that nobody would make the FINA A cut. Like his
Yeah.
Yeah.
ninth place semi swim in Worlds last year, where everyone was like, oh, MA is washed or whatever, that still would have qualified for the team
Mm-hmm.
in okay. At least it would have made him into the A final. So
Yeah.
Okay.
so much of this is hinged on this one personality, and I am going to take my own example by stopping talking about it because there's so many other cool things to discuss.
Hey guys, so here's a little hot just edit update thing is that there was actually no recorded outro for this video. So I want you to picture like Emma Chamberlain editing on like her Mac in 2018 when you're watching this part. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back very, very soon, I suspect. And we'd like to thank Mediocre Swim Analysis for his great contributions to our Stroke 50 debacle. And of course, thanks to Victoria and Todd out.